So this video is going to look at Judith Butler and her theories surrounding gender. So Judith Butler is known for her publication, her book, Gender Trouble, in which she explores some of the issues surrounding being masculine and being feminine. She looks at what we have come to understand by these two terms in society and breaks down some of the social constructs that we have associated with these two terms. Now, the first thing to say about this probably is that Butler believes that gender is fluid. That gender and biological sex are two different things. So, yes, you have male and you have female, but that should not necessarily equate to masculine and feminine behaviour. In other words, biologically, men and women are different, and she is not disputing that. The issue that Butler is raising is that we as a society have typically associated particular behaviours with each gender. So really, Judith Butler raises the question of what is normal behaviour. What is normal behaviour for a man? What is normal behaviour for a woman? And she looks at this in terms of performance, and she calls it gender performativity. She says that from a very young age we learn how to perform as a man or how to perform as a woman based on our social understanding of what is acceptable. So if we take this back to its most basic, even from birth, we associate different colours with different genders. We may buy a baby boy something blue and a baby girl something pink. And Butler would say there's no reason for this. There's no biological reason why boys should lean more towards the colour blue and girls should lean more towards the colour pink. It's a construct that we have made as a society. It's not real. And we begin to label behaviour as boyish behaviour or girly behaviour, and we begin to talk about certain characteristics in terms of male or female characteristics. And Judith Butler will argue that this increases as we get older, so we learn what is acceptable activities, what's acceptable behaviour for boys. So it may be that boys can join the football team at school and girls can do dancing. And we start to develop and understand these ideas based on the social constructs that are in place. It's interesting to look at advertising that is targeted towards children in order to explore some of these points. We see adverts aimed at girls that develop ideas of domestic life, that develop ideas of looking pretty, that develop ideas of forming friendships and relationships with other girls. Whereas if we look at advertising aimed at younger boys, it's all about fast cars, it might be about action heroes, it's about strength, and these traits are sold to boys through these particular adverts. As we get older, maybe it's a little bit more subtle, but some of the ideologies remain the same. And advertising targeted at a male audience is often to do with being strong, being brave, being in control, being in charge. Being targeted towards women is often to do with maintaining a good home space. It might be to do with maintaining good looks. These, Butler would argue, are social gender constructs. Again, this contributes towards feminist theory, where these subtle cultural norms are formed and they're difficult to break. Judith Butler presents these social norms as restrictive to both men and women. She says that gender constructs are nothing to do with the biological sex of an individual. Society has made up the rules and the media accentuates these rules. So think about how this might apply to your set products. Think about how this applies to other media products that you access on a daily basis. You have a male or a female who is not acting within the social construct, who's not abiding by our societal gender norms. How are they treated? How are they accepted? Even how are they represented by the mainstream media in comparison to representations on new and digital platforms?